Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping straight into Exodus, chapter 27. We're really looking at the detailed instructions, almost like blueprints, for parts of the tabernacle.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. Not just vague descriptions, but like very specific measurements, materials, even commands for how things should run day to day.
Okay, let's start with the first big piece described, the altar of bronze. The text gives precise dimensions.
It does. 5 cubits long, 5 cubits wide, so a square base, and 3 cubits high. Remember, a cubit is roughly elbow to fingertip, maybe 18 inches or so.
And the materials?
Acacia wood, but overlaid entirely with bronze. And it mentions these horns, one at each corner.
Ah, yes, the horns.
And they had to be made of one piece with the altar, not added on later. That's quite specific.
Very specific. And it wasn't just the altar structure, right? There were tools mentioned, too.
Exactly. All the utensils were to be bronze as well. Pots for the ashes, shovels, bowls, forks for the meat, fire pans, the whole set.
And there was a grating.
A bronze grating, yeah. Like a network under the ledge halfway down. It had bronze rings at its four corners, too.
So those rings, were they for carrying?
Precisely. It mentions poles, again, acacia wood covered in bronze that you'd slide into rings on the sides of the altar itself. It was designed to be moved.
Makes sense. The text also says it was hollow, made of boards.
And crucially, it says make it just as you were shown on the mountain. So no deviation allowed.
Okay, so this combination, the exact size, the durable bronze, the poles, it really points to something, well, essential but also portable, right? For their journey.
Definitely. The detail underlines its importance, even, while they were on the move.
Right. So moving outwards from the altar, the courtyard of the tabernacle, what about that space?
Also very specific dimensions, 100 cubits long, 50 cubits wide. Quite a large area.
And how was it enclosed?
With curtains, finely twisted linen curtains, 5 cubits high.
Linen. Interesting. How were they held up?
On posts. These posts had bronze bases, but the hooks holding the curtains and the bands around the posts were silver.
So a mix of materials there. Bronze at the bottom, silver connecting the linen.
Yeah. And the layout is given side by side. The long sides, north and south, were 100 cubits each, needing 20 posts and 20 bronze bases.
Okay.
Silver hooks and bands on those two. The shorter west end was 50 cubits, 10 posts, 10 bases.
And the east side, that's where the entrance would be.
Exactly. Also 50 cubits wide overall, but the entrance itself is singled out.
How so?
It wasn't just plain linen. The entrance was a specific curtain, 20 cubits long, made of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, plus the finely twisted linen, and it's described as the work of an embroiderer.
Wow, so much more elaborate than the rest.
Definitely. It had 4 posts and 4 bases associated with it. The text reiterates that all the posts around the courtyard had these silver bands and hooks and bronze bases.
And even the pegs?
Yeah, the tent pegs for the tabernacle itself and for the courtyard structure were all bronze.
So you have this stark white linen boundary, grounded by bronze, linked by silver, but then this burst of color and craft right at the entrance.
It really sets the entrance apart, doesn't it? The contrast suggests maybe something about accessing the space, durability for the boundary, but artistry and specific materials for the way in.
Okay, so we have the structures. But chapter 27 also includes instructions for, well, keeping things running.
Right. It shifts from building plans to an ongoing command. It talks about light.
The lamps. What does it say?
The Israelites are commanded to bring clear oil of pressed olives. Specifically, that type of oil.
For what purpose?
Simple. So the lamps may be kept burning continuously.
Not just sometimes, but kept burning. Who was responsible for this?
Aaron and his sons, the priests, they were to tend the lamps in the tent of meeting, which is inside the courtyard but outside the veil covering the holiest place.
And when were they supposed to do this?
From evening till morning before the Lord, so ensuring light through the night.
And this wasn't a temporary thing.
No, the text explicitly calls it a lasting ordinance for the generations to come. It's permanent.
So this continuous light, using specific oil, managed by specific people, it feels like a really significant perpetual requirement.
It does. It underscores this idea of a constant presence or readiness within that sacred space.
So wrapping this up, we've walked through these incredibly precise instructions in Exodus 27. You've got the altar-measured, bronze-clad, portable.
And the courtyard defined dimensions, linen walls, bronze and silver fittings, but that very distinct embroidered entrance, real physical structures.
But then right alongside that, this command for something ongoing, almost intangible.
Yeah.
The light. always burning.
A lasting ordinance. So think about that meticulous detail for both the physical construction and the continuous ritual. What does that level of precision tell you about what was central, what was non-negotiable here?
And maybe consider that contrast. The solid, measurable bronze and linen things designed to be carried versus that constant immaterial flame. What might that juxtaposition suggest about, sacred space and how presence is understood or maintained within it? Something to think about.